I woke up to the sight of my 2-year-old son tapping away on my cell phone. Put up my hand, and after a couple of whines and tears, he handed the phone back to me. I checked my phone to make sure he didn't make any phone calls or texts. After checking everything on my phone, I didn't find any new calls or texts, but I did see an app called Life is Beta on my home screen now. The icon was just a circle inside of a solid blue square. I put my phone in my pocket and got ready for work. After I ate breakfast, I kissed my wife and son goodbye and walked to the subway station. The ride to work usually takes around 40 minutes, so I turned my phone on and clicked on the app. Now, the first thing that threw me off was that there wasn't a loading screen or anything. It just automatically jumped to a character floating in the middle of the screen. The next weird thing was that the character looked just like me in every single way. Even the face was exactly like mine, down to the 2 pimples I found on my forehead this morning. Feeling a bit curious, I tapped on the screen and he started to walk towards the right. The screen turned black for a second, and when it bounced to the next screen, I almost dropped my phone. He was sitting in a subway while playing on his cell phone. After a couple of seconds, the subway and the phone stops, and a couple of people got off and on the subway. I tap on the character and he gets up and bolts out of the subway. I tried to tap outside of the subway, but the screen keeps showing the subway. The lady that boarded started to pace around the subway, but no one really gave her any notice. After she walked around 3 times, she started to shake and took out 2 guns from her purse. The subway is filled with blood and people are running around as she empties out both magazines. Once she ran out of bullets, she took a knife out of her purse and stabbed herself in the chest. The screen on my phone went dark, and I felt the subway come to a stop. I looked up and saw a woman in a yellow coat boarding the subway. Without a second thought, I ran out of the subway and caught a cab. The whole cab ride there, I kept searching the news to see if there were any recent shootings in my area. But after a while, I started to relax, and by the time I got to work, I was laughing to myself about how dumb I was listening to a dumb game. Right as I sat down in my office chair, I got a phone call from my wife. When I picked up the phone, I heard my wife say, please, just answer the phone." I said, "Hello?" And I could hear her breathe a sigh of relief. She told me that she was watching the news when she heard about a lady shooting up the subway I usually rode to work. Right as she told me everything that happened, I couldn't really respond. I felt my hands start to shake and my throat felt like it was closing up. I told her I loved her and I would call her back later and hung up the phone. I turned on the app again and saw my character was floating in the middle of the screen. I kept tapping at him, but the screen wouldn't change. So I clicked the home button to my phone and tried deleting the app, but my phone did not give an option to delete it. Frustrated and scared shitless, I just shoved my phone back into my pocket and tried to forget about what happened this morning. I didn't check the app again until around 2 p.m. I felt my phone vibrating, so I checked it, and I saw a notification from Life is Beta. It said, "New experience" next to the logo. I didn't want to, but I clicked on the box in case it was trying to warn me again. When I opened up the app, I saw an animated version of my manager typing on his laptop. The view shifted to where I was, looking at my manager's laptop. On his screen was a lady holding up a man by his hair. I could see what my manager was trying to type out. "Use your fingers to dig his eyeballs out." The woman held up 3 fingers on her other hand and my manager went back to typing. "$300 for that? You're fucking nuts. $200 and we have a deal." She nodded her head and used her index finger and thumb to dig out the man's left eyeball. I clicked on the home button before I saw anything else, but once I closed out the app, I got another notification. It simply said, "Call 911. I ran to the restroom after I dialed 911 and explained to the dispatcher about what my manager was doing on his laptop. I requested that I stay anonymous and hung up the phone. 15 minutes later, my manager was taken out of his office by 2 police officers. He was pleading with them and telling them it was all a misunderstanding, but we could hear the sounds of a man yelling out in pain from our manager's laptop. That was the last notification I received today. But I'll let you know if I receive any more. Stay safe, everyone. And be careful with who you trust. So exciting, isn't this? This is the winner of the January Nosleep contest, and it's a series of 3 parts, so you'll see those coming over the next couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to catch these next parts, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all later.